What is going on, everybody? Kamusta kayo lahat mula sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, Australia, or wherever the heck you are on the planet. This is your one and only Jake of All Trades, the place to be for any niche, every genre, and all generations. I'm your master of ceremony, D to the E to the LRO, aka JDR, aka the extraordinary introvert. So guys, welcome to another episode, and as you can see by my screen, I've had to downgrade my microphone. So RIP to my Scarlett 2i2. It's been a great run with you the past few episodes, but hopefully we can get you fixed soon because I need you back, buddy. But as the great ones always say, gawan mo ng paraan. The show must go on, and I have to find a way to just survive the next few episodes without my professional mic. But then again, it is what it is. The great ones always find a way. So I'm not going anywhere, guys. All right. So why did I say Australia in my introduction? That is because for the first time, we are finally having someone outside the Philippines. This is my first ever international guest, but she's Filipino, by the way, so it's all good. But this is the first collab that we're having na yung guest ko ay nasa labas ng Pilipinas. So she hails from down under, from Perth, Australia to be exact. So I'll let her introduce herself later on. But without further ado, let's give it up. Good day, mate. Miss Janine Labrador.
Thank you so much, Jake, for having me.
Yes.
Like pat in the back for Jake for doing this. Despite of the Scarlet 2. So thank you for having me all the way from Australia. I didn't know that I'm the first guest. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for taking the time. Now, guys, if you don't know, we've been rescheduling over and over. So after a couple of weeks, I mean, we've both been busy, but I'm so glad that we finally got it done, which is why sobrang jahin naman if I cancel just because of my microphone. And I'm really sorry in advance if my voice isn't really as crisp or as professional sounding as compared to the previous episodes, but guys, don't worry, we're gonna find a way. But enough of me. It's now Janine's turn to talk, so just kindly introduce yourself to my audience, to my community. The floor is now yours. Take it away.
So yeah, my name is Janine Labrador, and as you said, I'm from Australia, and I'm also 22 years old. And I've been living here in Australia for around 8 years or 9 years. Let me count. 2011. So I came here around 2011. And I'm also doing interior architecture, also doing music on the side, and also doing Forex, working in global company right now. So it's really fun here right now. Despite of like Corona and everything going on, I'm really blessed that I was able to be given this opportunities with social media and everything. So yeah, just a tad bit a little bit of myself.
Wow, that's amazing. Yep. So if I'm the Jake of all trades, she's basically the Janine of all trades. So she's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a volleyball player. Shout out to all the Haikyuu fans out here. And she's also a Forex student. So yeah, basically the whole package right there.
Yeah, I love Haikyuu. I mean, I only recently watched Haikyuu like last 2 weeks ago, I think. And it's because a lot of my friends been asking me. I was like, oh, like why what's with Haikyuu? And so I watch it. Yeah, it's really good volleyball. Been playing for like 8 years now, I think. 8 years as well. So I was 12 or 13. I did volleyball back in Philippines. But yeah, I came here. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So obviously, she has her hands full, but I gotta give her a lot of credit because she's able to micromanage everything, and you can really tell she's really enjoying what she's doing, and that's what really life is all about. So I guess that leads me to my first question. So with all this stuff on your plate, like how do you manage your time? Like how does it like feel having to do all these with time being so scarce and we don't have a bountiful surplus of time? So how are you able to manage all these hobbies while of course maintaining your adulting status and all that? So I'd like to know, and I'm sure my listeners would like to know how you budget your time with all these hobbies and with all these responsibilities as a young adult?
That's a good question actually, because yesterday, if you guys check it out in Life by Design Ladies, there was a session that we do every Sunday there, and it's about scheduling time. So this is a good question to start with, because this is what I thought of as well and what I went through yesterday as well. But how I manage it, it's actually quite difficult, but it's also fun at the same time. Like, I'm still learning, trying to juggle everything I am doing right now. Like, for interior architecture, doing it online. So I make sure that I put on time where, like, and I try to stick to that time that I assign that to, like, music as well. Try to do 2 hours a day. Also, like, for me, it's really important, like, if you have a busy schedule, that you do some self-care activities. Like, for me, I do meditation stuff. So, like, I do it for around 10 minutes. So I usually go to, like, a park near me where I do some meditation. We just have to sit down and, like, quiet and just, like, breathe in, like, take on, like just take a pause in what I'm doing with my life. Like, I'm 22 years old. A lot of people will tell me, oh, you're still young, like, there's a lot of things I love doing, but in scheduling as well, like, you have to be patient as well, and you have to learn how to be kind, because sometimes it's not always that you stick to the time schedule, but the aim is to try to be consistent as much as you can. Like, what I'm learning in Forex as well, I'm surrounding myself with people who are successful and who are already there and who are really passionate at what I do, and they're really driven, and they help me out to kind of, like, elevate myself and, like, better myself. And that's the best way you can do, and to invest in yourself, to surround yourself with people who are who are already there in life and who you can learn a lot from and, like, grow from. Like, this year, also, I said that I'm gonna surround myself with people who are older than me. I love my friends who are the same age, but I just thought that, in order for me to grow further, that's the best thing that I could do, just surround myself with people better than me, older than me, and more experienced than me. So, like, I have friends who are, like, 30 years old, 28 years old, where they can share, like, stuff that they've learned and the lessons they've learned. So it's like, you learn a lot of stuff, and that includes with, like, scheduling, how they're how they're coping with adulting, how they're paying their bills and everything like that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much, like, how I try to just be patient and just be don't judge yourself too much if you're not able to stick to the schedule, but just try your best as you can.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I really like how you shared your story of just, managing your time and just surrounding yourself with great people. And we're gonna touch upon that a little bit later. And this actually brings me now to my next question. So you mentioned you had a solid community back in Australia, right? But before we talk about them, like, I'd like to talk about your personal transition, like, leaving home or leaving your first home, which is the Philippines. So what was it like from, like, the southeast to down under? Like, before we discuss this more in depth, like, do you have any initial reactions, like, that you recall during that time? Like, I'd like to know whether you were excited about it, whether you miss home already. Like, I'd like to know.
Oh man, I remember, like, because everything back in Philippines is, like, we had a good life, I would say. I'm privileged enough to and blessed enough back home, and my parents working as 2 jobs, working as accountant. Such a blessing to live in. So going here, it was I felt a lot of fear, I would say, and a lot of uncertainties that, like, I thought I had a good life back then. So it's kind of like a fear of, is there a better life here or is there not? But going here definitely was yeah, like my best friends were there, my childhood friends were there back in Philippines, and like before I left, like we cried because it was like, you know, we had them like I've been friends with them for such a long time, so not seeing them is the hard part, like being with my friends. But transitioning here is actually like exciting. So, but at the same time, because like I don't speak English back in the Philippines, so I'm not fluent like back then in speaking English. So when I came here, that was one of the struggles I had to go through, and like trying to communicate, especially like Australian accent is very different to American accent. Like if you watch like Ellen DeGeneres and then watch like Australian movies, it's very different accent. Like it's a little bit British, you know, if you guys have seen some movies. And also, what was the other struggles? Yeah, also we came here and we actually lived in like my parents' friend. So we lived in our parents' friend. So I remember like sleeping on the bed, like on the floor, because we don't have actual house ourselves, and it was such a risk for my mom because my mom was the one who initiated coming here to Australia. So she had like an exact amount of money, you know, so it was a big risk, but I'm glad my mom did risk it. And yeah, and also in school as well. Like I remember in high school, because I came here year 8, which is like first year in high school, and like I remember like some of my friends trying to like communicate with them, and it was so hard. But it is very multicultural here in Australia, so you're able to see like Malaysian, Chinese, European. I've got European friends as well, Italian, and also from Greece. I mean, yeah, I have. Yeah, that was the fun part, is that I'm able to try different foods, multicultural, because very multicultural. But at the same time, looking back then, I realized that I actually didn't have any Filo friends. So I think that time I had like identity crisis, I would say, when I was in high school. So that was like when, you know, like I'm surrounding myself with different cultures, different things, and I'm like, you know, like I think I lost touch in my Filipino side until I joined a youth group, which is called YFC, and it's global as well. It's called Youth for Christ. And there I met a lot of Filipinos, and also I joined the volleyball club, which is called Pepsi, so Perth Pinoy Australian Sports Club. Yeah, I joined there and I met a lot of Filipinos, and I was like, wow, like it felt like home, but like outside home, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm glad I did join to those communities. They really helped me a lot to stay back, and like, because yeah, first 2 years in Australia was like I had this very strong accent, but when I joined Pepsi and like Youth for Christ, it went back again. So I'm glad that I didn't lose like that Filipino aspect, because I still want to speak Tagalog as well. And there's after that, a few years later, there's more Filipinos coming in, so it's like, you know, it just felt like home. So we have events as well here. That's like, but that's like that's my experience, my first few years here in Australia.
Wow, grabe. Daming kwento, no? Like that was actually very I don't know, very uplifting, because I loved how you touched upon your humble beginnings. Like, I think we have this misguided notion that, Filipinos living abroad, they have it easy and all, like they just left Ireland to live a luxurious life and all that. But just hearing Janine's struggles, like having to sleep on a mattress, having to share with someone else's space, that is not easy as you guys think. So I gotta give, you know, Janine and all the other Pinoys out there living abroad, you know, for holding it down and for just grinding daily, just finding your way and eventually thriving. And actually, I gotta give you credit as well for that, because you didn't just survive. Like, I can really see, like, with your recent project at Life by Design, you're really thriving out there. And as someone who's just my age or maybe even a year younger, like, seeing you do all these things as a Filipino living overseas is truly plaudable, and I truly applaud that. So
Oh, thank you so much.
yeah, truly appreciate that. Or you're welcome. Sorry about that. But since you mentioned to me earlier that you had a very supportive community, whether it's a Filipino group or a diverse group, what was it like? Communicating or just connecting with different people of different cultures. I've been looking at some of your posts and stories, and I can see na sobrang malakas yung Filipino community dyan. So I'd like to know, how was it, like, in terms of your being able to just relate and to just adapt, and at the same time really befriend as much people as possible, in particular just the Filipinos who might be going through what you were going through when you first got to Australia. So I'd like you to describe to me, like, your overall feel, like, for the community, whether it was a Pinoy community or whether it was people from around the world. So go ahead.
Maybe I'll go through them separately. For the multicultural friends that I have back in high school, it's definitely such a an eye opener, because the more the more different you speak to, like, I love the idea that you're able to speak to people who are different than you, like, not just in personality but also in culture. Like, speaking to these different types of people, like, with different backgrounds, I'm able to learn their culture, able to understand things that I should say and things that I shouldn't say, the things that could offend them, things that they appreciate. And like, I love it though, because they're also from different backgrounds as well, and it's like, it's like united in one. And also, like, with the Forex as well, like, it's also global community. I love also that I just love people who are different than me, people who have different experiences in general, like, who have different personality. And there's a lot of things as well that I realized from having different backgrounds and having different different cultures as well. Like some other cultures maybe like outgoing or like more extroverted, and there's some that's more held back, but that's the fun part, is knowing the differences in each. And I realized from that in Filipino, as a Filipino, and a lot of people have been telling me as well that, like, Filipinos are like very hospitable, and like I realized that's from the difference, that's one of the things that we should be proud of, that Filipinos are like, very welcoming to others as well, and they're very open and like generous to others as well. And yeah, like I'm just proud that I met other people like who knows how to speak Tagalog and who's trying to speak Tagalog as well. So I think that's the fun part, learning from each other.
Yeah, definitely, truly. Yeah, as you said, like, I really appreciate how you guys are very inclusive. Nagtutulungan kayo during your stay there, and it's truly just I really appreciate it, because in this world today, it seems that we just like bring each other down and instead of pulling each other up. But this community where you're at right now, I can really see how sobrang malakas yung sense of community, or yung sense of if you need help, I got you, fam. Like, I really love that so much.
Exactly. Yeah, actually didn't well, my background was initially I grew up being like my parents taught me to be independent. So they're like, when you do this, you can do it by yourself. When you do this, you can do it alone. And I think it was really here in Australia that I really learned the importance of community. And because like our parents have their own like traumas as well. Like and then I try to understand why they were teaching me how to be more. I mean, not that dependent is a bad thing. It's more like I learned here that I have people that I can ask help from. Also, and that's also asking help from my parents, because I don't think back then, like when I was young, I don't think I asked a lot of help from them. Like I try to keep it to myself. But I love. You need to be able to be in a community who loves what you do, in order for you to grow further. Like you can do it alone, but you will go further in life if you have people who have the same mindset, who have the same drive, or like same lifestyle that you want, and who would keep you grounded. Like you need to surround yourself with people, and I'm really blessed enough, especially my youth group, like Youth for Christ. They're amazing. Like they're also a global community. So even if I go to like for example, I went to Bali, Indonesia, last February, and knowing that you have a home in different countries is amazing. Like I went to Philippines also, and I met a lot of people, and I learned from that conference that there's different parts of Philippines that like I've heard of, but I forgot. Like I've heard of, but that reminded me when I went back there as well. Like Cotabato and like Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and there was like 7,000 people like meeting and like having the sense of home in wherever you go, and meeting people along the way is amazing to me. So just surround yourself with people, community that can like help you grow further and flourish you and help you want to see you win in life. That's such a blessing, and that shouldn't be taken lightly as well. Like the people, those people, my friends.
Wow, that's just amazing. Like all these stories you've been sharing so far of you being able to diversify yourself with different people. Like me personally, like as you know, I'm such a huge introvert, so I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and relate with others myself, but it's not really as easy as it looks. But I really like appreciate people like you who really take the time to reach out to others and just make it easier for shy people like me, or just anyone out there, to just have someone to talk to, just relate with each other regardless of background and all that. And I guess I can also relate to your story, because I also had a similar experience, and I'm gonna have a separate episode for this, but I actually lived outside of the Philippines myself back in the late 90s. To be exact, I was like born in Sanpo, like back in 97. So we lived
San Francisco, right?
Yeah, we lived in Cali for about 5 years, and then 2002 onwards, we moved back to the Philippines, and the rest is history. And this actually leads me to my next question, because me personally, the adjustment from US to the Philippines, it was hard because introvert, mahiyain. So sa school usually hindi ako madalas nag-uusap sa ibang tao. I have a hard time just relating with others. And the culture shock, just the sudden changes in the culture, like it kind of gave me a difficult time. And I actually can't wait for that episode to come out, just sharing my story, like from the US to back home in the Philippines. But how about you, Muna? Or how about you? Like, was there any adjustment, like from the Philippines to Australia, or was it seamless? Was it effortless for you? Was it quite easy for you to relate with these people the way you're relating with them right now? Or did it have to become a slow but steady progress from being, kind of reserved since bagong territory, bagong lupa, to, you right now, which is very relatable, very friendly, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, like, sorry. like back in Philippines, my personality was actually, I was a very shy kid. Like I used to be introvert. Back when, yeah, I used to be introvert. Back in what do you call this? Back in year 5 or like below, like I'm like the kid who's like in the class and like sitting by myself, like at the back of the row, and like no friend, no talking to anyone. Like, yeah, like I had a completely different mindset back then. So coming here to Australia, like it held me back a bit as well. Like, you know, it's still the same as well. Like I'm still introverted, but one things I realized is that introvert is a limiting bias. Like you can be anyone you want to be, as long as you have a goal that, you know, you say to yourself and you affirm yourself every single day, or like when you're looking in the mirror and say, I'm confident, I am extroverted, I am this person. It's kind of like you have this person in mind and you put yourself in that shoes and you become that person. Like you can be anyone you watch, or you can be anyone you want to be. Yeah, it's definitely wasn't easy. Like what I said, like talking to my friends was and trying to communicate, trying to like understand. Like there was this times where like my friends would ask me questions in Australian accent, like very strong Australian accent, and like I would say like sorry like 5 times because like I just couldn't understand. But it's just getting used to it and just trying to. I'm glad my friends were really patient about me as well, and I'm glad their friends, my friends back then also were trying to understand the accent as well. So it's like we were in a journey and just trying to understand each other. But that's the best thing about it, like that you learn to love the difference with each other. And like there's like one of the quotes I heard, it was like it's not hate, it's indifference. And that's the best thing about knowing someone who's different that you, is you just have to understand and educate yourself like with their experiences, not, you know, like I believe you can't hate anyone. I believe if you find one thing that's relatable with that person, you can't hate that person, because you know you have something in common. Like like hate is a strong word. Hate is just indifference. But as long as you learn that through that indifference, you can overcome like anything and anyone you come across within life. Because I believe everyone wants the same things in life, which is, you know, love. Everyone wants to feel safe. Everyone wants the needs in life, you know, the basic needs in life. Like we all stem from wanting the same things. So I feel like we're not really, you know, different to each other. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yes.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I can really see that despite the difficulties of, you know, adjusting to a new culture or just new soil, you took the challenge head on, and look at you now. Like I really, you know, appreciate that. I truly respect the grind and just the daily mantra or mentality of just facing every challenge head on. And I feel like that's not really the weakness, but like it's one thing that's holding our generation back for a bit. Like the fact that with all these challenges coming our way, minsan nag-hesitate na tayo kaagad. Like, you know, look at me right now with this downgraded mic. You know, it's easy for me to just stop. It's easy for me to just, you know, quit just because you have these setbacks, and you know, you have your own backstory, and I'm sure there are a lot. They're way more difficult, and they carry a certain amount of weight. But I can really see how much you've really adjusted quickly, and I can really see how it was also seamless. Even though I know deep down may mga internal struggles like y'all all do, but you just stayed the course. And like I said, I know I've said it over and over, but you're really thriving out there. Like, I'm seeing you do all these crazy things at the age of like 21, 22, and it really just amazes me. And you're just
thank you.
one of those major inspirations to our generation that's in need of people like us, just creating content and just putting ourselves out there, despite the current state of our world right now.
Oh, thank you so much, Jake. Yeah, like it's really for me importance of just trying to better yourself for other people. That's the best gift you can give to others. I believe that just trying to improve yourself, genuinely improve on the areas, on your weaknesses, on, like, for example, for me, I'm also human. Like, the one of the things I'm trying to learn is consistency, like what I said like early on, like schedule. That's one of the things I'm actually struggling, trying to stick to the schedule, but that's the aim, is to just try to stick to the schedule. But as long as you try to improve on yourself every single day. And I'm very big on self-awareness, like meditation and stuff like that. That actually works, and it's harder than sitting down. Like, when I was starting, I remember like meditating and I was like, what am I doing? But I just try to be patient of what it is about, and it's actually working, because that silence is so important in our lives. Like, we need to take a pause and step back for a bit, think about like what we're feeling, like in our body. Like, do we feel tense? Do we feel relaxed? Do we feel at peace? Like, learning how to listen to your body. Like, it says a lot on like our it helps in making our decisions better, as well, with self-awareness. And like, the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about other people as well. That's what I love about meditation, self-awareness. But you guys should try it. It's good.
Definitely.
Do you try it? Have you tried it before?
Meditation. Well, lately I've been listening to the sleeping podcast. Like, every end of the day, I listen to Sleeping Pill with Inka Magnaya. That's the name of the podcaster. So every 10 to 20 minutes of my day, or of my evening, that is, literally before closing my eyes to bed, I'll just listen to that podcast. It's not really like a sleeping pill. Well, it's the healthy kind, of course, but it's not just to lull you to sleep. It's really just to let go, to just unwind, and just forget about the problems that you have or that you had to deal with today. Like, like right now, for example, with all these things happening with work, with my podcast, with all the malfunctions, and with all the struggles that I've had to deal with the past few weeks. I think just ending your day with with someone soothing voice, or soothing you to sleep, I think that's really been helpful for me. So for my listeners, and to some of Janine's followers listening to this pod, if you guys need some meditation, if you guys just need to unwind, I highly suggest you tune into Sleeping Pill with Inka, or any other sleeping pills that are on Spotify. But that particular podcast, I will link it down below in the description. So I really think it will help you guys, because Janine just mentioned meditation, and I feel like we just want to help you out, especially now in these difficult times. So with that being said, I guess before we wrap it up, what is your advice? What is your message to Filipinos all over the world? Because we have a lot of transnational Filipinos. We certainly have a lot of OFWs. We have a lot of immigrants, and we really got to give these guys their credit, because believe it or not, they're the ones driving the economy. They're running our country. Like, the reason why our country and your countries are thriving is because of the immigrants and the OFWs that are just supplying for their families while providing for the economy on the daily. So, what is your message? What is your advice to either those living in abroad already, or for those who are thinking about doing what you did, several years back, which is, moving from the Philippines to another country, not just really para gumaan lang yung buhay ninyo, but more so really to just know who you are as a person, to just learn to adapt to, certain new cultures. So what is your message to some of my listeners who may be living in international soil right now?
My advice would be, pain is growth. So, like, I want you guys to just think that in, like, pain is growth. It's sometimes we dwell on, most of the times we dwell on the pain that we're experiencing, but the pain is only temporary. Like, that won't last. The struggles that you're facing won't last. But just try to be patient along the process, because you'll definitely have the best life ahead of you. Life isn't easy, but be kind to other people as well who are different than you. Be patient with yourself. Those two things. Do two things. Just be kind to yourself. Be patient to yourself. Love yourself. Loving yourself goes a long way. And also try to keep an open mind of opportunities as well, especially right now with Corona. Sometimes in social media we do things and we forget that there's a lot of opportunities, like especially right now, like here in this cove. Without social media, I wouldn't be here. Thank you, Jake, for having me. Social media really has gone a long way, and we live in the best generation right now to do all of these things, to network with other people, to connect with other people in different countries. Just keep an open mind of those opportunities as a millennial.
Yo, I truly appreciate the shout out. It's been truly my pleasure having interviewed you today. It wasn't easy, like I said, like we were scheduled over and over, and I don't blame any one of us, because schedules are meant to be busy, and it's all about finding the common time. And I truly appreciate that even if there's like our second or third reschedule, like we finally pulled it off. And even though we may have had some technical difficulties before this episode, I'm glad that we pushed through. And like I said, it's not about the struggles pulling you down, but it's really what you do, how you improvise, and how you just adjust on the fly, that will really determine whether you're gonna have a successful life or not. And I guess to add to Janine's pieces of advice, and it's only fitting that I give her company a shout out. It's really life by design and not by default. I just saw that from one of your stories like a couple of weeks ago. But your life is not set by default. If anything, you're the ones designing it. You're the ones driving your own, driving the way you want to live, for the rest of your life. So it won't be perfect. You won't have all the tools you will need. You may have them at first, but all of a sudden you might have a couple of malfunctions here and there. You might have a couple of mishaps or a lot of setbacks, and certainly a lot of drawbacks. But the important thing is to just keep pushing forward and just keep staying the course, because eventually all that stuff will just take care of itself. And I think, me personally, it's through the struggles, it's through the difficult upbringings, and it's through the origin root story of each and every individual that makes someone who he or she is today. So with that, I would like to thank Janine for really sharing her story. I think a lot of Filipinos living overseas, this really hit them, or I can really say that it really hit close to home. And I really hope that if you're an immigrant or if you're a Filipino living abroad, you could really relate to Janine's story, and I really hope that you guys paint your own stories, because I know you have a lot more inspiring stories to tell, and I really can't wait to see the modern day Filipino, whether here or abroad, just thrive and just be the best version of himself or herself wherever he or she may be sa anumang panig ng mundo. So with that, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Jake. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys having a good day or night whenever you're gonna watch this or listen to this. Definitely privileged to have this call with you. I can't wait to see this flourish, just grow in this podcast. You're gonna be amazing. I can see it. Just keep doing what you do. I hope to do another episode next time.
We're down. And hopefully by then my mic is gonna be fixed.
Yeah.
This is such a huge disservice to you, because you came prepared, you had your mic, you had your equipment ready, while mine just decided to turn its back on me last minute. So I really think I didn't do you justice, man. I mean, I owe you another episode.
That's okay. Oh, good. We have a good life. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So before we go, do you want my listeners to get to know your plugs? So now's your chance to promote your content. I mean, you are a singer after all. You do covers. You also do some dance TikToks, and of course you're flourishing on that Forex project of yours. So now is your chance to introduce my viewers to some of your plugs, and I'm sure they would love to see your content. So go ahead.
Yeah, so follow me on my Instagram, Janine Labrador, or my Facebook. I also have a Facebook page, and I also have YouTube page. Just type in Janine Labrador as well. I'll be there. And also with Forex as well, Life by Design Ladies on Instagram as well. Feel free to message me if you have any questions, or if you need help with knowing more about investing. I just want to help a lot of people, especially Filipino community, and just anyone in general, with mindset as well. It's such an amazing company to be in, just being global company right now in this crazy pandemic time, and this coming up. It's such a good opportunity for especially millennial who want to invest, and also the adults as well who wants to learn how to do it. I just want to help build out Filipinos and learn more about how to invest in general. So I think that's it for my Instagram. Yes, that's it. But yeah, feel free to message me if you guys wanna chat. Like Jake just messaged me as well, just reached out, and now we're in this interview. So thank you so much for having me.
Good stuff. And I'm sorry if I'm not gonna let you off the hook yet, pero pwede pa sample.
Oh, what song?
I don't know, whatever you want. Like.
Okay. I can't think. Oh, the song. What's a good song? I can't think of any songs right now.
It's alright.
I was like, oh wait, I was singing. I was making cover. And by the way, I have a cover on my Instagram, so I'll post cover on my Instagram. I'm doing a cover of Talk tomorrow, so okay, let me just I'll sing Talk then. Okay.
All right.
Can we just talk? Can we just talk?
Hey.
Talk about where we're going. We'll make it right. Let me out first. I love that.
Mini collab right there.
I love that.
But yo, thanks for being game. I truly enjoyed.
Thank you.
To do this interview. Thanks for being game to do that sample. So if you guys don't know, Janine has a new cover. I will surely link that on the description once this episode comes out. And yeah, those are her plugs. I will link them as well in the description. So if you want to follow me this time around for my podcast content on Instagram, it is at JOAT.pod.delro. If you want to check out my personal IG, it is at Jake_Delro. If you want to check me out on Twitter, it is at _Del_Ro_. If you also want to check me out on Facebook, you can type facebook.com/JOAT.pod.delro. So it's basically the same as my Instagram. Or if you want to just search it on the search tab, just type JakeOfAllTradesWithDelRo. This podcast can be streamed, televised, viewed, and listened to on the following platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and on YouTube. So with that being said, that's a wrap, y'all. Thank you for tuning in today, mga Del Bros at Sisters. This has been your one and only Jake of All Trades, and I am Del Ro, signing out. Hanggang sa susunod na usapan at chikahan, and hopefully by then, my mic gets fixed. But if not, see ya.